one of the games.
Morning. Wow, good morning.
I'm stalking you. Okay. Steve, good morning.
Good morning.
First off, you've done a roll count this morning?
Well, it's a little bit early, but we've done a roll count to a degree. Obviously, the big Dummett and Gale will have scans this morning. Obviously, they'll not be involved tomorrow. But we've got one or two back on the grass. Alan is back training, St Maxim. He's trained for the last 2 days. I think tomorrow will be a bit early. Same goes for Shelby. So instead of 12 or 13, we've probably got 8 or 9. So things are looking up.
As far as Dummett and Gale are concerned, have you had any update at all?
No. Until we have the results of the scan, then we won't know the severity and timescales and all the rest of it. So I think one's at 10:45 and the other one's at 11:15. So we'll see how they are then.
Okay. You were joking, I think, the other day when you said you were going to look into the under-18 squad.
Yes. Look, I've said it since I walked through the door here. You know, we will play as strong as I possibly can, and that's not going to change. You know, we've got a wonderful chance. We've got to dispatch Rochdale at home. You know, they made it difficult for us in the second half. For me, the game should have been put to bed in the first half, but it wasn't. So we've got a replay to play, and we'll go as strong as we can.
When you look at what they did to you to come back into that game, Aaron Wilbraham, 40 years old, I think he made his debut when you were still playing at Birmingham. Is it embarrassing when a 40-year-old does that?
No, it's not embarrassing. Well played to him. He's been around a long, long time, and he obviously looks after himself, and it's credit to him that he still manages. There's not many people playing at 40, but well done to him. And to get a goal, of course, he gets all the headlines. We've got to stop him again tomorrow, because I'm sure he might be involved tomorrow again. He played on Saturday and had a good result, so it'll be interesting to see if he's in the team.
Some of your young lads said anything about playing against somebody who was playing professional football.
I don't think we've ever really. I don't think we've mentioned him in terms of that. You don't often find a 40-year-old playing. Let's be honest. So fair play to him. It takes some endurance, but he must keep himself in good nick.
How important is the FA Cup to you and to Newcastle this season?
Well, I've said all along, I don't think it does any harm. And for too many years, we haven't had any cup run at all. So it doesn't do any harm to have a cup run. I learned that in my experiences. So let's try and tackle it head on, like I said when I first walked through the door, and nothing's changed. You know, we've got an opportunity, and then we've got 2 Division 1 teams to be in the 5th round. So let's have a go for it. Why not?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the next round. If you get through, managers and players always say it's one game at a time, but what an opportunity to get into.
Well, what an opportunity. We've got a great opportunity. That's all it is. We've got to go and perform tomorrow and make sure we get through.
If you were Barry Murphy, would you be thinking, no, this is a good time to play Newcastle again, bear in mind?
Well, they were delighted with the replay for obvious reasons. You know, all of them. A small little club to get another crack at a big Premier League team. You know, you have to respect how these clubs work, and I know all about it after playing in the lower divisions for 7 years. The one area you do look forward to is the FA Cup, and can you play against somebody from the Premier League or the old Division 1 in my day? It's what it's all about for these teams and these clubs, and they'll come up here and they'll travel up this afternoon and they'll enjoy themselves and want to do well at St James's Park. It's quite simple. That's what the FA Cup's all about.
So it's not a case of it's just another game then, is it? Or for you?
No, for them it's not just another game. It's their big game. Let's be honest, and we have to be ready for that challenge, because there will cause us a problem or two. That's for sure.
Do you see much of a difference between some of your youngsters who have come into the side, and you've had players playing in the leasing.com trophy, and aside from League One? Bear in mind, when you look at that competition now, there's only one of the Premier League teams that's got through to the last 8.
Well, that just shows you how difficult it is when you're coming against youngsters, against experienced pros from the lower divisions. They will come up and find out what it's all about. So in that respect, it does teach them a harsh lesson of just how difficult it is to make a living. Not alone playing for Newcastle, is to make a living, because if they're not quite good enough for Newcastle, it's our job to make sure that they try, and that can only them experiences. Like we've got a few out on loan who experience a totally different thing to playing in the academies and in the 23s. No disrespect to it, and I'm a big believer in it. Go and earn your spurs and do well and find out exactly what it's all about, because in them low divisions it's all about getting a result and winning, because you have to look after and pay the mortgage and pay the bills, and they don't get paid the huge sums in the Premier League. So it's a tough environment for anybody to play in them low divisions. I have the hugest respect, because I've obviously done it myself a long time ago.
You mentioned some of the loan players that you've got out. Given the injury problems, are any of them likely to be coming back this time?
No, most of them are cup tied. We let them play, so that wouldn't help us. So look, we've got a few problems. We've got a few coming back. We'll be as strong as we possibly can and name a team which will show the competition the respect that it deserves.
A couple of other things I'd like to ask you about. First off, the greatest goal scorer striker in the Premier League. We saw this weekend Aguero scoring that hat-trick, most number of hat-tricks. Is he the best the Premier League has ever seen, or would somebody who...
No, I think the best one. Here? I can say it now because I class him as a pal. Surely Shearer, when you see his record of 260 goals, he's still 100 behind him, isn't he? It just shows you then 100 behind him is quite remarkable. So I think Newcastle's number 9 can have that honour. For me, he's possibly the best one we've seen in the Premier League, that's for sure, is Alan.
And the other thing, the handball rule, as it now is in the penalty area, we've seen goals given, goals disallowed, slightest touch.
Well, I think we're all sitting on the fence with VAR. I think the one the other night where it was ruled off, West Ham's one, is bordering on ridiculous, and certainly the offside one when you're 2 millimetres is the biggest concern for us all. Surely we've got to have some sort of rule where there's daylight between you or something like that, where it's clear and obvious. And if it's not clear and obvious, then it's not offside, in my opinion. That's the way we should look at it. And I'm a big believer that the referee should go over to the monitors rather than from afar. I think they understand what they've just seen, and to get another look at it, I think could help us another way.
Have you spoken to any referees as to why that's just not happened?
Well, I think they've set the rules in place for this season, so I'm sure there'll be more debates going on, but I don't think they're going to change much in the season, and I think they'll make the changes probably in the summer, I would have thought.
Declan Rice said on Friday night after that goal was ruled out that all the players he's spoken to, every Premier League player wants VAR scrapped. Is that your impression?
I'm not so sure I want it scrapped, because I do believe in the huge big decisions what cost games, then they will get it right. But it's the minor incidents which I think we have to, the handball one, for example, that's for me too extreme. And certainly the offside one, I think we can look at and have where it's clear and obvious. There was a clear and obvious one yesterday. It was done within 20 seconds. It's when it goes on for 3s and 4s and 5 minutes. I think that's totally wrong. I think it's bad for the game in that respect.
Graham Souness suggested that if any part of you is onside, you should be onside rather than the reverse.
Yeah, well, that's the way the rule was. So for me, if it's clear and obvious, fine. And but when it's millimetres and this, that and the other, and measuring armpits and things like that, it's ridiculous as far as I'm concerned.
Finally from me, we're almost halfway through January. Any developments at all?
Well, I'm meeting up with the owner in the next couple of days. That's planned. So as I've said all along, if there's something that can really make us better and they're available, then we'll try and ask something. And I'll ask the owner, of course, who was very supportive in the summer. So let's see what we can get. But I've said all along, I won't just bring players in for the sake of it. You know, most of the injuries we've picked up are minor, so they will be back in 2-3 weeks. And you know, I'm not one for just bringing in players for the sake of it. They've got to be improvers, and if that can happen, then I'll have that conversation with the owner over the next couple of days.
Do you expect him to be as supportive, more supportive?
Well, he was very supportive in the summer, and he's been very supportive of me, full stop. So, yeah, I expect that.
Okay. Steve, say you're going to play the strongest team, so I'm guessing Almiron will be in, and he's scoring goals for you.
Well, it didn't do him any harm playing against Rochdale. We took him off, and we lost that little bit of, it was more precaution. And we said all along, once he gets one, can he go and get another one, and one after that. He's been terrific for the last 12 months here, and he started the game so brightly against Wolves, and he's all round attributes, chasing back, and all the stuff that he does. He's a top player, the kid, and now he's scoring goals. It's great to see.
And is that sort of something that Joe Lyncham can have a look at?
We certainly hope so. Look, the number 9 jersey on Joe at the minute is wearing a bit heavy. We all understand that, and it's an opportunity for him. I'm hoping that he's going to declare himself fit this morning, and hopefully he can get off the mark and get up and running, and maybe in the ideal game for him. So let's hope it does the trick.
FA Cups, as a fan, were you there in the 74?
Couldn't get a ticket for the FA Cup final. I was absolutely gutted, and we were awful that day and all, weren't we? Semi-final is one of my best memories, apart from the Fairs Cup, of course, in '69. But Supermax scoring twice at Hillsborough with Colin Mulder on his back was one of the highlights. But seems a long time ago. I'm not going to mention Supermac anymore because he gives me too much stick. But I remember it very, very well.
You remember the 50s?
And he was poor. And he was poor. He was poor in the cup final, I have to tell you, giving me all this stick.
Yeah, 50s was just a bit before your time, but
Oh, I definitely just.
But that legacy just keeps you.
Look, I've said it many times now. We went on a good cup run with Hull, and my whole perception and management changed because before that in the Premier League, it was all about survival in the Premier League. No disrespect to the clubs I was at, in Wigan and Birmingham and Hull and Sunderland, we've got to stay in the Premier League no matter what. And we had a run in the FA Cup, and people got a little bit of confidence, like Almiron. People get a bit of confidence on it. They enjoy winning. Towards when you get to the end, when you go in semi-finals to Wembley and quarter-finals, they are big games. And as I said, I don't think we're going to catch Liverpool. So if the draw's kind to you, then you are capable. If Hull can get to a cup final, then surely why can't Newcastle? And that's going to be my mantra until I leave.
Chris? Steve, can I just ask, in terms of the weekend's results and the mood in the camp, everyone will have felt a bit brighter, I would imagine?
Yeah. I mean, look, we were in yesterday. I can't fault their effort and their endeavour and their resolve, because there was a lot of us, me included, thinking, hang on, this is ridiculous. We've got started well and we've got to make 2 changes again after 25 minutes. It's cruel. And really, Joe battled on with a knock, which was sore for him, but he carried on. And it was that horrible situation again. So fair play to them. They've rolled up their sleeves. It weren't easy. The goalkeepers pulled off a couple of good saves, but for that effort and endeavour and resilience again, then I can't fault them.
I suppose you haven't got a crystal ball, but the way you started, had the injuries not happened, you must have felt we probably might have had a chance of winning here.
Well, we got off to a great start. We give a poor goal away, which unfortunately we've done too often. We've made individual error again, which is awful. That keep happening, but. Overall, it's a good point. Away from home in the Premier League is always a good point. So, especially with the problems we've had, then and hopefully, as I said, by the end of the month, we've got hopefully everybody back raring to go again, and we'll see where we are from then.
Just on that point about individual errors, is that frustrating? Because I know obviously, last season, the season before, even the beginning of this season, Newcastle have been praised for how strong defensively.
Well, that has been my strength. The resilience and that strength and giving nothing away, and all of a sudden in a couple of games against Leicester and against Man U in particular, we've gifted them the game, and it's hard enough to win a game of football without making them individual error. And unfortunately in the Premier League you always get punished as well, so we've seen it again yesterday afternoon, people making mistakes and you get punished, and that's something we'll have to eradicate.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you for the lie-in as well.
Yeah.
My alarms were well and truly reset for that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm doing you a favour now. It's not.
You just wanted to lie on yourself.